Hello there and welcome to another Deviant.fun's flash review. Today we're bringing a very different book, a very out-of-the-box book that some might find a drag, let's be honest, because it revolves around socialism, and it's an adaptation of Robert Tressell's The Ragged Trousered Philanthropists romance. Well, it's not really a romance because it was a reflection upon society. It was not based on fictional facts. It was more of a study and a little bit of propaganda around socialism, of course, because he was a socialist and he believed in its ideals. And it's been adapted by Scarlett and Sophie Rickard as a graphic novel. The original book dates from 1914, just imagine that. And at the time, Robert Tressell had a big difficulty to find it published in such a way that he said that he burnt the script all over and etc. So, this is a extensive read. It will fill some hours of your time, and let me read the summary just for you to know. It is bluntly called the socialist novel because that's what it is. It's an inspiration to generations of political thinkers, from George Orwell to Tony Benn, acclaimed through countless editions and adaptations in the century since its first publication, which was 1914, like I said. And now Robert Tressell's, now it's 2020, that's what this book is dated. The Ragged Trousered Philanthropists has found the perfect medium. Their graphic novel of this timeless and compelling masterpiece embodies the hard graft, devoted craft, and sheer beauty of dedicated labor, and exposes the ugliness of its scandalous neglect by an all too complacent society. So that really sums it up. So what we'll be following through the book is mainly, not only, but mainly a workforce. These guys are the bosses, the capitalists that are gathering all the money from the working class work. And we'll be following this bunch of guys here that work for Rushton and Company, which is a builder decorator company. They go into houses and they refurbish them. They make it look nice. And here is the kind of illustrations you can wait for. I really liked it. I really dig the illustrations. They have a very personal touch. It gives you a feeling of old comics, but they're very nicely drawn. And there are some perspectives that I will show you in a moment that really shine. So, like I said, we'll be following this group, but this group is, well, very homogeneous. I think that's how it's said. Except for one guy that has socialist ideals and that can see, he has a bird's eye view upon the whys of the society being as it is, and he believes he has some answers to some of those problems, and he certainly has a vision of what he would like the society to be instead. It so happens that his workmates aren't very permeable to those ideas. They are entangled in how things are, and they're just happy that they have a job. So he will be constantly sermoning them, let's call it, and trying to make them see that they are imprisoned in the cycle of poverty and making other people rich, while they are struggling for work every day, not knowing what the future will reserve to them, and we will see bad things happening to some of them. here's the perspectives I like. They're kind of cool top-down perspectives, showing all the workers in their leisure time, which is not that much as you might imagine. They work a lot and they're paid lousily. This guy is the mean guy that goes from workplace to inspect and whip on those guys to work faster and cheaper, and always menacing that if you don't do this as fast as it should, then the budget will bust and you'll be out of work. I'll get someone else to do it. So they live in this constant fear of unemployment, because that immediately turns into hunger and despair. And various aspects of society are dealt in this book. One of them is religion, as we can see here, the Lord or Shepherd, which also plays an important role at this time. Religion, and thinking that, well, anything that you can get is God-given, and you should be grateful for it. Yeah, but Owen doesn't go with that song. He's got problems at home. You'll see the families going through some rough, really tough situations, having to sell all their furniture just to have something to eat, and that might be a single soup and some bread, not necessarily fresh, and they've got children to feed. They have no social, how do you call it, social welfare. That's not something that even crosses their minds, except for Owen's mind. And so what you'll see is a very trustable depiction of what was to live in these times. People thought that poverty was a synonym of not wanting to work. They consider that only the drunk people or whatever weren't working because they didn't want to, but Owen makes them see that it's not that. It's much more than that. And there's a chapter dedicated to the causes of poverty. And these explanations are not lightweight explanations, as the cause of poverty is this, and that's it. No. You'll always get full, thoughtful explanations, and they will branch through a lot of pages. Here's Owen again lecturing them about what's wrong with their life and how it could be. Then there will be another, of course, we'll see how the big corporate guys, the ones taking all the money, also have the political power and the votes to make things happen. So they basically control everything. They control what work goes to who, and they sum up the money. They take all the decisions that are in interest of their own companies. So it's really a vicious circle that you'll see here. But the conversations between the socialist guy and the other guys who refute his every affirmation, except for one or two guys that start opening their eyes to see, okay, this is not really a good we're not in a very good place here with this kind of living. It's not enough to be grateful to have a shitty job and be able to provide with food. There should be place for arts, for artists. That's something that in this time was not even considered. to have leisure time, to have time for culture, to enrich yourself with cultural intake. Yeah, that's it. So if you don't like politics and you're not interested in social reflection of how society can be at different things, here's a lecture that is showing them how they're not getting much of the bread slice, being the bread slice, the money, the total of the money being generated, and it's showing them what they get from it, and how it accumulates on the guys that own the companies. And I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah. So if you have interest in politics, in philosophy, if your ideals are tilted towards socialism, of course you won't agree with everything that is said here, because there are some utopic things being told. Of course, when the society is described as it should be, if it was perfect, with no currency, people actually working for getting goods from other people, but not exactly by harvesting money or being even able to harvest money. Some solutions are presented here regarding that. So it's a very, very thoughtful, and it will make you think a lot about even our society today, because some of the things that are talked here, well, they're actually conquests of the modern world. They already been conquered, thank God for that. Like not for all countries, but for the modern, the most advanced countries, like I'm fortunate to be in. I'm from Portugal. We have social care. We have the right to have a house that protects us from the cold and harsh weather. And if we can't provide for it, the state, the government has ways to do it, and even help you find jobs and etc. If you run out of a job, you still get paid until you find a new job. All those conquers. Women are able to work equally as men. Well, we're not still there, but we're getting there. And in this book, that is also mentioned, that women are getting men's job, and that's not right. That's what the conservative guys think. But so this is a very interesting journey. It's a very intellectual book. So if you're looking for thrills, that's not what you'll get here. What this book will make you is think about how society, even today's society, could improve and could be different, and it could benefit us all. Yeah, that's what you find here. A manifest for socialism, but a lot of interesting ideas, interesting ideals that have impermeated our cultures and lives. But some of them we haven't gotten there. You will be the judge if we should get there, if it's even possible to get there. Well, at the time you'll see that things that we now take for granted were deemed impossible. So who knows if 30 years from now, 50 years from now, some of the things that are told here will actually be part of our lives. shortened work schedules. That's all mentioned here. Things that are still being discussed today, that we should have more time for family, more time for leisure, how that could improve commerce. We would have more time, more money, so we would buy more things, not necessarily rubbish, but important things. We would spend more in culture. Yeah, it's a really deep book, and I usually recommend it, but I know it's not for everyone. But if your interests are somewhat around what I've just mentioned, then go check this out, because this was from 1914 and it's still so actual. You will not only get to know how life was back then, but you'll see some prospects of what life could be now. So it's a very valuable document, very well illustrated, and there's lots and lots of dialogue, because this is mostly a reflection, so it's bound to be worthy, not worthy, worthy. Yeah, you know, lots of words. That's what I mean. Yeah, so if you're interested in this book, you know where you can find it. You can find it at Deviant.fun.biz. Otherwise, just get a hold of it and read it. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Big recommendation. If you like this video, if you've been following us, consider subscribing to the channel, hit the like button, leave some comments, whatever. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube if you wish to. We would appreciate that, and we'd love to hear more from you. So, until our next video, Deviant Fun is out in 3, 2, 1. Bye bye.